Hey everybody, it's me, Normal Corey. I'm here in Seattle, Washington, and just here to make a video talking about my outdoor beat making setup, talk about why you would do that, what the negatives of it are. But yeah, here at Kerry Park, Seattle, Washington. Fortunately, the mountain's not out, but it's all good. This is pretty close to where I live, so it's easy to load everything up on my bike. I have 2 pannier bags. Everything fits in my pannier bags. I've also got a hard case that I put my MPC into. I also have my Octatrack, but this setup, unfortunately, we don't quite have enough space for it. So we're just leaving that out. And I think in this video, I just wanted to talk about this setup, the MPC as my focus, what I make beats out of every day, and just what the process is. So we got my MPC. This one's great. It has an internal battery, a lithium-ion battery, which stays charged for a while. So I don't even have this plugged in right now. It has a speaker, which is remarkably good for making beats outside because, you know, your headphones are just another thing that you might forget. They might be unreliable. And the speaker is actually really, really good. I have this analog mixer. I notice when I'm going directly into my phone, it's really difficult to push the audio quality all the way up to where I want it to be. So whenever I use this, it seems to just work better. I can also mess with the EQ, and it just makes it to where I don't have to do anything in post. I can just post what I made, and it's professional, which is really nice. Speaking of, right here I have this DJI x2 lav mic. I have it plugged in right here, but I also have the output of the analog mixer, which has an input from my MPC, goes directly into the microphone, which is really great for going right into the phone. Makes things easy. Whenever I got this because I wanted my audio quality to be higher for videos. But what I didn't realize is that I would be able to plug my electronic instruments into it, which has been really rewarding and has made just making quick content and things really easy on the go. Right here, this is my newest addition to my setup, and this is my bluetti battery. It's pretty freaking heavy, but it's also pretty heavy duty. It's AC and DC. I've been out here for about an hour now, and it's only down to 82%, and it's, you know, running a device. I think when I started, it was at 87% because I didn't have it at full charge when I came out here. But yeah, so been doing a lot of live streams. So if you could subscribe to my channel, that's great. I made it up to 50 subscribers, which YouTube said I needed to live stream, but I guess we're not quite there yet. But since I was able to do everything outside, I just wanted to make a video that maybe had the setup and the feeling of a live stream, not minimal editing, but I just wanted to show what I can do. I also been live streaming on Instagram until I could on YouTube, but just went on Instagram and they wouldn't let me live stream. I think I live streamed for about an hour and 20 minutes last night, which was really fun, but I think that's why they won't let me. It seems like there's sort of a daily limit on live streaming, which is fair. But yeah, it was cool because there were people in my live stream and they threw around some ideas as far as making a beat, and that was really cool. So I'll play you really quick the beat that I made yesterday, and then I say we make a beat, and we just talk about the experience. The idea that the chatter had, which was basically to mess with the pitch envelope of the kick, which is really, that makes me feel like I'm falling off the couch. so that was just a fun little performance. The MPC is really great, and why I love it, it's 7 pounds, which is pretty heavy duty, but I don't know of anything that's so mobile that essentially it's like a computer in the box, which I actually love making music in a computer, but this is kind of the best of being able to be on the go. What I've heard negatives of it, there's a pretty big screen, which it can leave you doing a lot of things on the screen. And I know a lot of hardware people love really, really tiny screens and menu diving in those, which is kind of funny. But as far as a device, this is really professional. The only other device that I'm really interested in, and if I can save up some funds and maybe sell some other things, is the M8 Tracker. I've heard a couple of other performances with that, and that's really, really tiny, but it seems professional enough to do what I need to do. So check that out in the future. Yeah, but basically this is cool because you can get up to 8 VSTs to go along with your drum samples, which is really great. So basically here I was just bringing tracks in and out for a live performance. You can do like, you can basically quantize when you bring the tracks in and out, which is really fun because I do love using the computer to make music, but I also like that feeling of just playing music as far as I'm making music as I'm mixing, which is really fun. It can also be kind of hard because, especially if there's not the quantized control, things can go wrong, but that's kind of how you get happy accidents and things. So what I thought I'd do is just go through pretty quickly and just make a beat as fast as I can and just show you the process, why it might make sense to get the MPC and why you might want to make a beat outside. So let's change this project. We're gonna go to menu, we're gonna go to new project. We're gonna save that track. I think it sounds pretty cool. I had a good time making it. So yeah, one of my favorite things about having a sampler that I can make music outside is just, you know, if someone else is running late or if anything's going wrong, this device right here, I don't need to have all of this other gear. I can just set it up and play. And it's really nice to get inspiration from your surroundings. I go back and look at the music that I made in the past, and I don't really have a musical training background or theory background, but I find that the songs often feel like the place where I was or how I was feeling at the time. And maybe since everything I do is so technical, it can end up, I don't know, it's sort of like a journal. So a good reason to get a beat pad to make music outside is be like a journal. And if you're a musician and you feel limited on time and you feel sad because, you know, I talk to a lot of my musician friends, I'll be like, been making music? And they're like, no, I've been doing this. And that's cool, that's fine. But I just always told myself, you know, I'm gonna do whatever I can to put myself in the position that I'm gonna make music every day. All right, so we have this new track pulled up. I think I'm gonna set the tempo to 118 BPM. And you know, you can make a track however you want, but this is just the way I'm going to do it for this track. So I'm going to go in, and we have a lot of different drum sounds here. I would say the biggest benefit of an MPC is all of the drum samples that are preloaded with it, which are really, really good. And you only get 8 VSTs, which is more than enough. But when it comes to these drum tracks, you get, I think, 128 even in the standalone version, which is kind of a crazy amount of more drums than you would ever really need, I think. So that's pretty cool. So I'm just loading these drums up. I think that I want to pick for today in this video, we'll do a 707, which I think of all the drums, I think 707 is my favorite. So you can probably, if you listen to my music, you can probably hear that. All right, so let's go in and, all right, let's go in here. Something's making this wobbly. Okay, that's better. So let's just go ahead and do just a 4 on the floor beat here in Kerry Park. Mountains just barely poking out. Looking at the Space Needle of the city. What a better day. Got the birds chirping. What an amazing day. Okay. For some reason, last night, because I was making a show, I turned my metronome off. So let's go in Let's turn that back on. I still can't hear it. So this is a cool thing. Let's go to the step sequencer and let's basically create. I know what it is. It's because I have my headphones plugged into my interface into the phone, which is great. But now I don't get what I wanted. But basically the step sequencer is really good. It's not as good as the Electron step sequencer, but it's cool and it does the job. So let's go in, and since it's basically a step sequence, let's put a little bit of swing on it. So let's do it. And now I basically have created my own metronome, so then I can play things on top of it. So it's really nice because you have a mixer within each of the drum tracks, which was really good. Yeah, I feel like when it comes to drum sampling, the MPC is just the best. There are other drum samplers out there, but this one is just really, really nice for, you know, people have been making drums on here, and everything you could ever think of, they've already done. Okay, so my sequence started out at 2 bars, but I'm going to double my sequence out. So one thing that I like to do at this point, basically everything is all in one track, but if I go press the pencil tool, I'm going to say explode the track, it's going to stop the playback, but then what it's going to do is that it's going to basically stretch all of these drums over multiple tracks. So then I can go in the original one and just delete that track. So then whenever I go into my mutes, I basically can mute certain parts of the drums really easy in the same place that I'm going to be muting my VSTs, which are my synthesizers and things, which makes things a lot easier. But you'll see this is how I will set up a song, because then when I do a live show, I'm going to plug everything to my Octatrack. I'm going to make more videos about the MPC and the Octatrack together in the future. Just let me know if you have any questions about that. All right, so let's go in. And now we have the basics of our drums. So what we're going to do is we're going to go in and we're going to pick a VST. I'm just going to pick a bass. You don't have to pick bass. You can pick whichever instrument that you want. But this just makes things easier for me with regard to whenever I'm doing live sets later. If I understand the general order that I make music in, then it makes it easier for whenever I'm setting things up. So I think I'm going to do B minor, because B minor is my favorite key. I don't know, there's something about the emotion of B minor that I really, really like. So let's go in, and there's a really nice bass plugin. What's it called? The bass plugin in the MPC, and this is one that you have to buy, but I really recommend it, is the Sub Factory. It's kind of a wobbly. I'm going through. This is kind of the boring part. I'm just going through all these sounds, but I definitely wouldn't play anything if you don't love it. If you don't love it yourself, no one else is going to love it. All right, I love that. So if you're someone, and as far as playing melodies on the pads, it's really nice because you can pick the key. It's kind of like bowling with the safe lanes up. But if you feel really self-conscious about the way that you play, I would just say practice. Just keep practicing and don't worry if it doesn't sound good, because eventually it will sound good, and you kind of learn through failure. And it's not like I'm the best player of instruments, but I do play melodies every day, and it makes me feel good. So another thing that I really love about the MPC that makes it worth buying and making music outside. So it's basically like a computer in a box. So I can put a sidechain compression on my bass, which is pretty essential for modern electronic music. So let's go in here. So let's go into the effects. The thing about it is that when you're making electronic music, I know when I used to start making electronic music, I was like, why does all these other people's music sound so fat and big, and why does my music sound so terrible? And a big part is sidechain compression, because if you don't know what a compressor is, it's basically like, you know, if a sound wave is like a mountain, it takes off the top of the mountain, like Mount Rainier, right there. I don't know if you can see it, but the very top of it's showing. But the compressor would take off that top part, so we as humans, when we hear it to that point, it makes that sound louder, even though it's kind of making it quieter. And the downside is that it would take out the dynamics. But, so what you do with a sidechain compressor is basically I take the kick, and that's the input, and then on my bass, I don't know if you can hear it. I don't know if I can hear it. Well, yeah, I think it's there. So let's turn the threshold up to make it extreme. At the most, it's taking out completely whenever the kick comes out, but there's with it not at all. But it gives it a nice bounce, and for some reason it makes it sound louder. And I really like that. So I like that this device has that in the box. So let's go in. And I think next I want to play a piano. And another cool thing is that it has not only scales, but it has polyphony with chords. So we're in hype, which I don't know if it's default with the MPC, but I really like the way that it sounds, particularly their pianos. And pianos tend to sound really good with sidechain compressor too. Melodies and leads, not so much. Now I think it would be a good time to extend the loop over to 8 bars. So just let it come around. So I changed the octave, and there's something weird that happens. So another great thing is we can go into the arrangement view and configure what exactly that was. And what it did is it played a note that was really, I think it played right there, it played the tail. So we can go and we can delete that. I will say about the Rompler, or basically the MIDI edit tool in the MPC, it's not as good as a computer, but it is getting better, and they're working on it, and there's a lot of improvements to it. So let's go back to note mode out of scale mode. And I'm going to add like 2 more elements and then just show you how I mix it for fun, and then I think we'll be done for the video. It's kind of overwhelming and scary to make a beat live, but I told myself I was going to do it to overcome the fear. So this is one synthesizer that I really like. It's the OP4, and it replicates a FM synthesizer. It's kind of cheesy in a really beautiful way. Like this one. So now let's add some plucks. I don't really know what a pluck is. When I started making electronic music, that's one of the synths they got. So now, let's add another pluck in there. It's a little bit chaotic, but that's okay. This isn't what the whole song is going to be. We're going to mix things in and out. Go back, let's set a chord up. So we need to do a new track, another plugin. We're doing good. I think this is only our 6 plugins, but I already feel like this is a complete song, so we don't have to overdo it. So let's go into hype, and let's pick a path. So there's one piece of that I think it's this one. Let's listen to it. We can solo it pretty easily. I think there's something. It might be this one. Let's go in the arrangement, look and see if anything looks off. Yeah, that's the one. So we'll just delete the parts that don't sound good. Keep the parts that do. So let's go in. I think it's right at the beginning. So that part sounds good. Sounds bad right there at the end. Damn, it's so funny. The mountain is just barely poking out. But that is a perfect analogy for sidechain compression. I'm not sure if y'all can see it. But yeah, the sidechain compressor takes that top part out whenever the kick goes, and it makes the bass sound fatter and it makes the kick sound fatter. All right, so now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go in. Let's see, now we've just taken out pieces, but it's not forever. And what we can do is we can just play around. We also have these pretty cool XY effects. But yeah, I'm just gonna do this real quick and then we'll wrap the video up and we'll make more in the future. right, so there we go. We just made a beat outside. Yeah, if you want to contact me, I'm going to have more live streams coming up soon. If you want me to teach you a class on the MPC in particular, I would love to do that on how to make beats outside. And yeah, just have more content coming out soon for you. I appreciate y'all so much. Thank you.